Live from the world's most famous arena, Big East Media Day. Loads of players and coaches for you. Can't wait to share it all with you. From the Player of the Year preseason and Maddy Siegrist of Villanova, right on through what we can expect out of UConn, Marquette, DePaul. It's going to be a fun one. Locked On Women's Basketball starts now.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi there and welcome to Locked On Women's Basketball. Thank you for making us your first listen every single day. You can make sure you subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, either online, audio only, or make sure you subscribe over at YouTube. Of course, it's not just me, it's the entire incredible team brought to you by the incredible staff at The Next, thenexthoops.com. Make sure you subscribe. $9 a month, $72 a year. You get over 100 women's basketball reported pieces. You get us right here 6 days a week. Make sure you are supporting the women's basketball newsroom we all know we need. And so the place I want to start today is just Maddy Siegrist. Maddy Siegrist, a human double-double, pride of Poughkeepsie, New York, has turned herself into an epic star. I have covered her throughout her time at Villanova. I will be covering her next April when they call her name at the WNBA draft, and I believe for many years to come over there. So this is very exciting. Without further ado, we're going to start out. Maddy, we talked to Denise Dillon, her coach at Villanova. You are watching and listening to Locked On Women's Basketball.
Maddy, where I want to start with you, and I'm a stat nerd. As I think we know from past conversation, you had a stat last year that's my favorite of yours, which is your turnover percentage was 7.7%. It is the lowest in the country. It's something that even at the W level, you're talking Elena Deladon, Brianna Stewart level in terms of being able to protect the ball. You were guarded at all times by 6-7 players. How did you manage that? How did you manage to take such good care of the basketball?
I think just knowing the importance of, having the basketball and possessions. Usually the team who has the most possessions is going to win the game. That's, why we have such a, we want to rebound the ball so well because, you give yourself extra possessions. Just knowing when I have it, you got to keep care of it.
Coach talked about the fact also just that in general, your ability to take care of the ball helped rub off on the rest of your teammates. And you guys were, I think, top 15 in the country as a team in terms of lowest turnover percentage. But, how much do you see that in possession by possession, even as the season went on, of people taking care and making those decisions because you were?
I think we put ourselves in such chaotic situations at practice. Coach does a great job giving us end of game situations, and that's where you really got to take care of the ball the best. And just knowing that you've already been there, and you got to instill the confidence in the younger kids. Just knowing especially Lucy Elson, she was our point guard. Just be you got to take care of the basketball no matter what. And she did such a good job embracing that. I think when other kids feel that confidence, we got it. We're gonna get a great shot here. Then it becomes contagious.
Have you let yourself think about what that will feel like, that moment when you get your name called in the WNBA draft?
Not yet. I've really tried to just keep it one day at a time. It's been such an amazing opportunity to play at Villanova and just, enjoy every moment of it.
And then just the other side of it is that, you have already accomplished so much, taking this team to the tournament, winning an NCAA game here as well. What, if any, are the benchmarks as you think about, taking through this senior year for you?
I think you always want to, you just keep raising the bar. That's the thing, is the bar is always, you can always just, make it harder, you want more. And, Coach has done a great job challenging me. She challenged me every day at practice. And I think that just gets you ready. Practice for us is so much harder than games, which I think is the way you want it to be, and just it just gets you ready for the season, and you just kind of take it one day at a time because obviously last year I was set back from an injury for the first 8 games. So just knowing that how important it is every game.
The last thing, actually, just how many tickets have you been able to request for the game at Marist? And what is that going to feel like for you to go back to your hometown and play there? We had your early success.
My parents are both alumni from there. My dad played there. It'll just be so special. Obviously look forward to the game, competing in front of my family and stuff, but just to be able to go there, I'm so grateful we were able to schedule the game.
Sure.
And just see everyone. It'll be great.
Thanks, Maddie. Coach, to that end, obviously there's a lot of conversation about Maddie's scoring, her rebounding. The number that keeps sticking out for me is her turnover percentage was 7.7%, which is, there's a couple of players in the W level who have ever done that.
Okay.
And so to do that in her junior year, take care of the ball, obviously you guys as a team took care of the ball as well as just about anyone in the country. But does that have an effect? She's making good decisions, she's making smart decisions with the ball. Does that impact the way your entire team is doing so?
Yeah, I was actually pleased with that in her game because she was looking to actually pass the ball more. So her passing skills had improved. But it's good decision making. Like understanding, it sounds so simple, but get a shot on the rim each possession. Like, it sounds simple, but when it makes sense to a player, like don't try and make more happen. You're just trying, it's you in the basket. Like get a shot, whether it's a jumper or a shot around the basket. So Maddie certainly understand it, and not complicated, not trying to do too much. And I would say even that lesson has been taught quickly to Lucy Olson. Not trying to be flashy. It's just, all right, I'm in the paint, we're going to take the shot. Not draw it, just simple kick out. So, yeah, not complicating the game for sure.
You and we've talked about this in the past, you have prepared her, even as she's been a huge part of this program, for what comes next. And so, seeing some of the bigger players who are acting as secondary facilitators at the next level, whether it's Alyssa Thomas, obviously Candace Parker most notably, but even more and more you're seeing that. Is that part of your thinking in, the way in which you're utilizing her in the offense?
Well, it always is. You want to prepare and help guide them to achieve whatever their ultimate goals are and they aspire to be. So when Maddie talks about playing the next level, that's always in the back of my brain, but I also don't want it to be a fight. Like there's a challenge, but you don't want it to be a fight. We want to be sure to get the best Maddy Siegrist we can, as opposed to thinking what that may look like in 2 to 3 years as she continues to mature and grow. Because I think the strength factor is a big thing, but you can't, that's not going to happen overnight. I think the commitment has been there, but I do feel, we haven't seen the best of Maddy Siegrist. And that may be when she's, 25, 26, in her prime physically. So.
Right. And then just in terms of having the breakthrough, winning that NCAA tournament game, has it changed the conversations you're having with recruits? Or are you hearing different things? Or do you feel like that breakthrough alone has helped sort of take the program to another level at this point?
Yeah, well, I think it's just continuing to build off of the great traditions of what Harry had established, and just our goal is to sustain it year after year and continue to grow. Not looking for once every 4 or 5. I talked about that a lot when I was at Drexel. There were times when it's a one-bid league, you're only getting that opportunity when you get the right players in line. Here in the Big East, we heard Val say it. There's 4 teams in the postseason with the NCAA tournament, and then 2 in the NIT. So just continuing to play at that level so we can advance. And yes, that one win was tremendous, but I feel that was the motivation of our team, why they came back ready to go, because they want more. They're working for more. I think it wasn't a surprise as to what we did, but it was a disappointment, losing that battle, physical battle to Michigan. So, holding on to that to inspire to be more, and recognizing that it happens in the non-conference. I'll keep saying it. Our non-conference schedule is challenging, and we have to be prepared for it. So, it's mentioned on a regular basis.
After the trip to Poughkeepsie, is there a single game that you think will help give you the best sense of who you are before you get into Big East play?
Yeah, well, there's a couple, but Princeton immediately. We play them that first week, so most definitely. she has done there is tremendous. I think Courtney did a great job, and Carter just continues to raise the level. And then we have a number of we're down at Florida for a tournament down there. We have Belmont right away. We're in Baylor's bracket, so we're gonna certainly see where we are early enough.
For sure.
Thank you.
Locked On Women's Basketball are brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is, of course, the daily fantasy where you compete against yourself. How does it work? You just pick 2 to 5 players, and if they score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. It's no competing against other people. It's you versus the projections. And critical for all of us, women's college basketball, WNBA, there is equality along with the NBA, NFL, MLB. You name it. Safe and fast withdrawals and entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. So download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON. That's promo code LOCKEDON. Sign up for an instant deposit and a match up to $100. Thanks for making Locked On Women's Basketball your first listen today. Now for your second listen, use Game to Game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and whenever you get podcasts.
I did want to start with Texas, obviously, which is, a super fun team to play.
Yeah.
I mean, when you guys start to think about, that challenge early on, you guys won 23 last year, and there's an argument to be made, and I made it, that you guys can and should have been in the NCAA tournament. Does that feel like, not just a challenge, but an opportunity to be able to sort of put down a marker early on this season?
Yeah, when we got invited to the Battle for Atlantis tournament, we knew it was going to be a special few days down in the Bahamas, and I think that the field was out, and it's 3 to 4 top 10 teams in the country. You're going to be tested 3 days in a row, and so part of building your non-conference is seeing different styles, going down against the best competition in the country. So I think it's going to test us early, but ultimately the bigger picture is to get yourself ready for Big East Conference play, and that's what we look forward to. It's going to be a phenomenal bonding trip too. A little sunshine, palm trees, and then some great basketball.
Yeah, it's certainly an enjoyable way to spend a late November few days. Jordan, I know we've talked in the past about your distribution, and obviously this has been something that's a critical part of your game. I'm wondering, when you think about how you want that to go this year, do you have a statistical benchmark in mind? Is there a way that you kind of measure where you want that to get to in terms of your passing?
Yeah, I think that's something that's been a part of my role, like you said, as long as I've stepped on campus. And I'm not really big on the numbers, but I think that last year I was able to grow in a lot of areas that were helping the team, and specifically assisting and passing was one of those. So I just think of, when it comes to how I'm going to help the team in that aspect, just being able to be aware of who's on the floor at that given time, knowing the offense and kind of where people are going to be at. So, it's more of the, studying the game and then being able to, react and play out of that. So.
And then, Chloe, for you, what have your conversations with Coach been like about, what seems pretty clearly is going to be an expanded role this season?
Yeah, we just talked about, staying the same. I think like being a fifth year and understanding what the experience is, just be Chloe, honestly, come out on the court and do the little things and play hard, and when you have the chance to score, obviously take advantage of that. But I think it's most important just the leadership roles that I've talked about with Coach Duffy and ensuring that, the freshmen have what they need to have, and then also the underclassmen and even the juniors as well, and just can continue to learn throughout the season and how I can help with that.
Do you have benchmarks in your mind about, things that you are looking to reach this year?
Yeah, Phil, the stat sheet's always one to definitely look forward to. But obviously, as a team, we're now, looking forward to getting part of the Big East tournament and continuing to hope for success, future, and postseason and things like that.
And Coach, this is a program where you won 23 games last year, but even the conversation, even the questions before we get here are about how to get back to what you're looking to. What do you think it says about where Marquette women's basketball is at this point, that you guys are in a position where 23 wins is something to build off of? For a lot of programs, that would be, the top of the mountain.
Absolutely. The standards are high at Marquette, and you hit it on the head. You win 23 games, and it's like, what more can we do?
Right.
We got to, fix little things like this. But I love that challenge. I think we coach with a chip on our shoulder. I think our players are extremely humble. They don't care about preseason awards or rankings. They want to talk about this current Marquette team that's building these first few months in the fall. And ultimately, we want to be a finished product by March, and those steps along the way. So we love the challenge of it. As a group and a program, we probably set them higher than the people from the outside. And we'll keep doing that and stay in our own little bubble with being there for each other and improving every day.
And whether it's wins, whether it's some other way, how do you measure success in your mind? And are there specific things you're looking for out of 22-23 that you think will reflect the accomplishments you're looking to have?
For me, I'm so proud of the women I get to coach every day. They bring it on all aspects of their life. We talk about winning and getting to the tournament and winning 23 games and statistical goals they have. But I'm even more proud of the way they conduct themselves in the classroom, out in our community. So, a coach is happy when all three aspects of their lives are all working together, and I got a group that does that, and it's only going to get better. I think they continue to improve each and every day, and the way they kind of put their blinders on and care about each other and work extremely hard. I think those are all the positive things that will show at the end of the season.
Last thing, I was just curious from a scheduling perspective. You guys start with FDU.
Yeah.
Bringing a Jersey crew out to the Midwest. Can you just take me through sort of how that came about? And obviously, FDU has had a significant amount of success here, so that's no easy gimme win right out of the box for you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We try and build that non-conference to fill a couple things. Get ready for conference play, so style of play. We want to play against teams that have been successful, have great nets. And FDU had a nice season last year. They got a great younger head coach that has done a great job turning that program in the direction she wants it to go. And so we kind of just invited them out there, and I'm sure they're picking up a couple games out in the Midwest, but it'll be a good first game out in the Alma.
Is that a home and home? Do we host you in Jersey next year? Just the one game. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, listen, thank you all very much. A couple things. I want to talk a little Lauren Park Lane, if we could, at the start, and just the fact that she was shooting north of 39% from three last year on 5 attempts. And I know we have talked throughout her career about the fact that getting to that level of efficiency from three is key for her when you think about her not only here as a player, but at the next level. Can you just take me through just sort of how she's gotten there and how huge that's been for the program as well?
And that's a great point. That's why you guys do such a great job. Analytically, it was important for her to improve her percentage. Right. It was also important for her to improve her attempts, because the more attempts she had, the more and the better the percentage, the more people would come out and open up the rest of her game. If she did not take those shots and make those shots, the rest of her game would have suffered mightily.
Right.
So we've done analytically, we knew we had to get her to 5, this year 7 3-point attempts. So what we've done is she's shooting 2 and 3 feet behind the line in every drill, every individual workout, so she can get better at it and better at it.
Her goal has always been to play at the next level.
Yes.
When you think about it in those terms, how significant is her getting to this point? I mean, you know as well as anyone, when WNBA talent evaluators come out, they're looking at not just a willingness to shoot, but obviously how effectively they're doing it.
Yeah, and I think with her, her ability at the next level will be setting people up. Will be that, pesky guard, picking up full court, setting people up. But if she can't shoot, her ability to set other people up is going to be is going to be reduced because of the fact that they're going to play off her. She can't go by people when they're 3 feet off her and everything. Now her ability to shoot is going to open up the rest of her game. So when she plays at the next level, she's passing the ball to their superstars for wide open shots because those other kids have to help onto her.
This is a league that got 4 teams in the tournament. A lot of people thought that was high. That seemed low to me, to be frank. I'm curious. I know you have obviously, some personal feelings in terms of that. But take me through, if you could, about sort of what you think 4 meant and whether you think that's a stepping stone to where this league ought to be getting to.
4 meant a lot. I think that was really important. I think even more importantly, 3 of them won a game.
Right.
2 of them won 16 days. 4 games. One of them won 4 games. One of them won 5 games.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. So you had one team won a game, another team won 4 games, and another or 3 games. Another was
To the Elite Eight.
and another team went to the finals. Obviously, I think that's as important as getting 4 teams in. So next year, these Power 5 teams leagues are getting 7, 8 teams in and winning only 2 or 3 of the first round games. We've shown that 3/4 of our teams won at least a game, and 2 went to the Elite 8, 1 went to the Final 4, obviously. I think that was as important as anything. I think we have to, again, show our mettle in our non-league games. Not just beating the Power 5s, but our bottom teams not losing to teams that are in lower level leagues.
Right.
It's okay to lose to same level or above level, but when you start losing to teams that are ranked in the 200s or leagues that are ranked 24, 25, 26, that's where we struggle. And I think our bottom teams are healthier, added talent, and are going to be much better. So I think that's going to help us get another team in. I think we're a 4 and 5 bid league. I say that all the time. Obviously UConn's in its own realm, but 3 or 4 of us should get in.
Right.
I thought we were right there. We talked about that before. We lost a couple games early in the year that came back to bite us, but at the end of the year, we were one of the top 68 teams. There's no doubt in my mind.
No doubt in mine either. And obviously you're looking to win the Big East, but it seems like, in looking at your schedule this year, you're also looking to win the Ivy League. Can you
I know. I got Princeton. I got Columbia. I think we're going to add Harvard next year.
I mean, and the cream of the crop, too, in terms of the Ivy this year, those are the 2 teams that should be right there at the end. How much do you feel like you're going to learn about your team early on from what you see out of playing Princeton and playing Columbia? Obviously Columbia, a team that had that deep NIT run last year, and Princeton, a team, that
won a game in that by 20.
Correct.
And lost the next game by 1 or 2 points.
Was right there.
Who we beat on the road.
Right.
Like, that was a huge win. And people if Princeton's name had said North Carolina, then it would have been like, oh my God, it's a great win. But Princeton lost North Carolina by 1 point in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
And beating Kentucky before that.
Correct.
So,
Pick'em game, yeah.
Yeah, we want to play them. They're ranked 24th in the country preseason, deservedly so, and we're going to have to play really well. But we wanted to add them. I wanted to add Columbia because we had a great environment last year, and they have a really good coach and a great team. So we're going to do a perpetual contract with them as well too. And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And everything. I think those 2 teams are going to really help us, and we're looking to add Harvard down the line as well.
So do you get an honorary trophy from the Ivy League?
That's as close to an Ivy League education as I can get. So, but they're good. And, we have a good non-league schedule, and that's important.
And then when you just think overall, like a single number you're looking at that will indicate whether this is a team that's meeting its goals or not, just analytically, what is that number for you? Is it increasing rebound percentage? Where is it for you guys?
Well, we talked about that. We have to win the turnover battle by at least 5 every game. That's really important. And we have to be a much better rebounding team. I think we're at -5 or 6. We have to be a 0. If we're a 0 rebounding, then we're going to be in good shape because we're not going to have as many offensive rebounds as the other teams. I think we'll shoot a very good percentage. So we got to be a 0.
Makes sense, Tony. I actually do want to start with that wisdom you were just talking to the great Maggie Vanoni about what the definition of a sophomore is.
In Greek, sophomore means sophist means wise, and moron means fool. So basically, a sophomore is considered a wise fool. And Anissa Morrow is coming into her 2nd year of college basketball. We want to make sure Anissa Morrow is a great 2nd-year player and not a wise fool.
Somebody who did finish freshman year that very few, if anyone, ever has at this school or any school. I guess, did she exceed what you thought she would be right away in a system that's very difficult to navigate, especially for young players here at DePaul?
I'm really excited about her competitiveness from the time I've known her as a camp kid, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. She's always been an ultra competitive player, and she brings a ultra competitiveness to the game that's just really special. So I think that's really basically her signature is that competitiveness. But you never know what the player is going to do once they get to school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a lot of confidence that every player we recruit is going to have a great career, but you don't know if it's going to break out in his freshman year or not break out until junior or senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's needs to broken out right away in the freshman year.
To have this kind of broad base of skills that she can kind of build from, you know, you've said no shortage of players to the pros. Does she look to you like somebody who is going to be ready, you know, 4 years out to be a WNBA star? And do you think she has, let's say, the highest W ceiling of anyone here in this conference, where there are no shortage, obviously, players who are going to play at the next level?
Well, I think she's got a great. I think she's got a great future in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just all going to come down to her work ethic and her competitiveness and maintaining that focus and work ethic and staying healthy. But I think there's no doubt she's a WNBA player. And I think she'll have a chance to be a very special WNBA player. But she still has, still has to keep working to get better every single day.
Is there a particular area where you feel like there's a benchmark you want to see her hit to get to that point?
No, I mean, Anissa has guard skills. And I love the fact that she's got guard skills. And you want your big players to have guard skills. But now, taking those guard skills and being able to mesh those guard skills by still playing to your strengths. You know, you don't all of a sudden, because you're getting a little bit guard skilled, go stand on the three-point line and chuck threes.
Right.
You gotta play to your strengths while you're working at the weaknesses.
I mean, that's the balance that, you know, Denise obviously been working on with Maddy Siegrist, you know, pulling her out a little bit more, you know, and you know, when you see Maddy, when you see sort of the way that she has developed, does she seem to you like she is on the cusp not only of being Player of the Year here, but an opportunity to be an impact player at the next level, which I think very few people would necessarily predicted for her when she got to Villanova?
No, I think Maddy's a great player. She's a great player because of her competitiveness and versatility. I mean, she is the most versatile player in the Big East because she can play basically all five positions. She's a great passer. She's a great rebounder. She can play away from the basket. She can play with her back to the basket. So she's just a very versatile player, and that's what makes Maddy.
This conference got 4 NCAA tournament teams last year. There are some who thought it should have been more. You know, Seton Hall was certainly right there in the mix, right to the end. Do you see it as a big deal, not only that you guys got 4, but that there was so much success? You know, not just UConn in the Final Four, but, you know, another Elite 8 team and Villanova going out and beating BYU. You know, do you think that matters in the NCAA's eyes as they think about, you know, these teams this year and beyond?
You know, I think the history of what you do in the NCAA tournament definitely matters from year to year. And you know, I definitely think Seton Hall deserved to be in the NCAA tournament a year ago. So it really did deserve 5. And you know, it's one of those situations where we're an 11-team conference. So, you know, and you also have to just keep your eye on who the players are in the selection process at any given year. But I mean, the fact that we got 4, I think they were well-deserved 4, but I did think Seton Hall belonged in, and that's almost half the league. And
then just on the point of the way you play, you are guaranteed pretty much every year you're going to lead the league in pace. And I just wonder, as a coach, you know, who plays this way, how much of an advantage do you think that gives you, and how much joy does it give you to be able to see a team play this way? You know, obviously in a way that's different from the way a lot of the way the country plays.
Well, I really just believe if you don't have the overall best talent in the country, then you have to do something different. And different in basketball means you either play slow or you play fast. And there's a lot of schools and coaches that are successful because they play slow. And they slow the game down and they shorten the game, and that gives them a better opportunity for them in their style to win. I just think the players would rather play fast. I think the fans would rather watch fast. The great Pat Summitt used to say that offense sells tickets, defense wins games, and defensive rebounding wins championships. So you want to, that sometimes makes it seem like offense doesn't matter. She's right. Defensive rebounding does make you win championships. But after you defend and rebound, you get the ball. And when you get the ball, you got to put the ball in the basket. And so you can put the ball in the basket at a 50-point pace, or you can put the ball in the basket at an 80-point pace. And that's the other thing people don't understand about our pace. There's 2 ways to play our pace. The Paul Westhead, Marymount way, which is to let the other team score, or to still try to defend while you're playing and keep the pace up. And that's very difficult to be a great defensive basketball team because you have to be risk-reward to maintain the pace. If you play traditional grinded out defense, you're going to slow the game down now.
Right.
So to keep the pace of the game up and play defense, you have to play risk-reward defense, which allows people to get some easier baskets.
Yeah, I mean, best watch in the country, bar none in my opinion, to your teams year in and year out. I do have one more. It's unrelated, but I have a colleague who's working on a piece about family connections at SIU Edwardsville. And so I was wondering if you could kind of take me through the Chicago connections there, both the Bruno family connections and also obviously the Quigley family connections, and how much that means to you to be able to see it continue in that way.
No, I mean, the Quigley family, both Allie and Sam, were just special players in the history of our program.
Yeah.
And then they were great players, great people, and so different. I mean, Allie is this quiet, kind of introverted, but just an unbelievably great offensive player. And Sam was the quintessential point guard and leader. And so just to see that both the Quigleys having so much success, and then my son Bradley and Sam actually did live together as roommates in college, and so they've known each other a long, long time. Bradley was a practice player. He has paid his dues. He spent 5 years in our program in non-coaching positions, both as a video coordinator and director of basketball ops. So it's not like he just got the job because his name is Bruno. He earned it. And then Sam is doing a great job. And you got to remember the men's coach down there is Brian Baroni, the son of Tony Baroni. Tony, who's recently passed away, was a great Chicago icon as a player at high school, as a player at Duke University, and as a college basketball coach at great Texas A&M and with the Memphis Grizzlies. So Brian Baroni's down there at SIU Edwardsville also. So
when you're not watching DePaul, when you're not coaching DePaul, is SIU Edwardsville going to be on the TV for you?
Well, yeah, except I don't really have time to be watching anybody else because, believe me, when I'm not watching DePaul, I'm watching who DePaul's going to be playing. So
that's true.
Thank you for making Locked On Women's Basketball your first listen today. We had a great time at Madison Square Garden. And something you may not know is that Madison Square Garden isn't just a place for Big East Women's Basketball Media Day. There's actually an NBA team there, the National Basketball Association. They're called the New York Knicks. They don't play for long, they're just the regular season usually, but the NBA season is here, and our local NBA experts are available to you by making your second listen Locked On NBA. Alex Wolf does a great job with the Knicks. The 29 other teams who are, more likely to continue to play once the regular season is over and into the postseason will also be there. All the biggest stories around the NBA every Monday through Friday in less than 30 minutes, not to mention, why Jalen Brunson is disappointing Knicks fans who are nevertheless geared for disappointment. Why is Julius Randle not passing the ball? That was something he did 2 years ago. It worked very well. Why has that stopped? Plus also the teams, again, that will continue to play into the playoffs. Locked On NBA, available on YouTube, Odyssey, and wherever you get podcasts. I'm Howard Megdal, wishing you a wonderful day. We will be back with you tomorrow with Natalie Heverin on the Atlantic 10. This is Locked On Women's Basketball. Have a wonderful day.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.